Well, Gary, that was clearly a game that was hugely influenced by the weather and frustrating ultimately for you.
Yeah, it was more influenced by a couple of mistakes, that we made, and yes, of course, the weather had an influence. But in the first half, it was in our favour, and we really should have been gone in 2-0 up. And then in the second half, it was in their favour, and unfortunately, we made the mistakes that they didn't make against the wind. Merrick's been a great goalkeeper over the weeks and years, but for him, I'd put him down as two mistakes. And we'd only just said in the dressing room at half time, look, let's not let that missed penalty affect us. So make sure we do everything right. And unfortunately, one of them foreign kicks that they like to do at the side against the wind if that doesn't come off, then it spins back right towards you. And we'd ask him not to do that one, but obviously he tried to do something quickly, and it cost us.
Yeah, just a bit of lack of experience, is it, from him?
I don't know. You'd have thought he was a bit more experienced than that made him look. But he's disappointed. He's apologised to the lad. So we've got to go into the next game and not try and drag them down too far. We've got to try and hang on in there. But we didn't do enough in the second half either to get ourselves. Leeds didn't do it to us in the first half, but we certainly didn't get in at them. We didn't have enough movement. We were waiting for things to happen, as opposed to, you've got McCormack there who makes things happen. Do you know what I mean? And you can see that when he makes the run, he knows when the ball's going to come into him. And but that's the quality that he and they've got.
At half time, you had a 1-0 lead, as you rightly say. It really should have been 2 with that penalty. Did you feel you'd let them off the hook a little bit, considering how much of the ball you'd had and how much possession and territory you'd had?
Well, 2-0, that's about right, isn't it? You can't ask any more than to be 2-0 up at home to Leeds, and then we knew we'd have to defend it, but we didn't want to defend it like Leeds did. I mean, because we did pin them back for quite long periods. But we made the mistakes against the wind. We didn't kick it well. We didn't win the first one. We didn't win the second one, and then Leeds, a little bit of quality kept us under pressure because they could keep the ball for longer, and we couldn't get up the other end. But Leeds are in that top half, and we're still waiting to play these bottom half teams, and we'll have to see where we are there. But we got a little bit to do in a couple of days because we know that Millwall's a massive game for us, and we'll have to see what result they get, what Charlton get, what Barnsley get, because who knows, we may not have lost any ground.
Yeah. You had that run of 4 games on the road, spent a long time away from Hewish Park. Have you looked at this series of matches now at home as your opportunity?
Yeah,
now?
That's exactly what we've done. And Leeds are a lot higher with a lot more points than teams like Millwall and Doncaster that we've got. So even Watford, so we got to be aware that there's better teams, and there's teams that are not as good as those better teams, and we're one of those, of course. So we've got to make sure that we perform and get some points off the teams that are in the lower half of the table.
These matches, you look at Derby, the fine margin there. Today again, another fine margin. How far off these teams are you, do you think?
Well, in the result, we haven't been far off because they've all been odd goals sort of thing. Even Forest was 2-1 and we were pressing when they got the sort of third one. So, we know that we're not a million miles away, but you mustn't make mistakes at vital times, and then you've got to have your players coming up with a bit of brilliance or a bit of quality to win you the game. That's what we've got to find. Now, we haven't won that many games, but the ones we did win, somebody's come up with a bit of brilliance and a bit of quality. Do you know what I mean? So we have to do that more often now. Have you got that in your club? Yes, we have, because we've seen it every now and again. But we've got to show it more often, and then we'll start winning games.
And as you rightly said, that match on Tuesday night against Millwall, it's huge, isn't it? It's massive.
It is massive. It's one of those cup finals, one of those 6-pointers. Have to see how they get on today at Burnley, and if they get beat there, then it's all to play for.
And can Mr. Upson play in that, or is there a gentleman's agreement that he's not allowed to play for them?
I think the two chairmen, done that deal, and I'm pretty sure that like if you do a loan or this is a sale, when it's close to playing that person, it's probably better for everybody for him not to play in that particular game. They'll have him for 18 other games out of the 19. So I'm sure they won't miss it that much. But it's probably the right thing to do for the two chairmen to say, okay, as part of the deal, he can't play against us.
And what's your routine with the players between now and then? Because there isn't a lot of time to kind of work on them. You talked before the match about getting ready for difficult conditions. You probably should have trained in a wind tunnel actually for this one, I think.
Well,
today.
probably that's another part of it, of course. But we took the wind to our advantage quite well. We did that okay, and we should have been too, of course. But what we didn't do very well was against the wind, when you mustn't make those. Paddy Kenny took his time. We were all moaning, but he took his time. He kicked where he had to kick, and didn't make any mistakes, and we did. And unfortunately, that's cost us the game.